Ron Van Dam. He doesn't need this gig. He's got all that money coming from that deposed Nigerian prince. Should be here any day now, and then he's kissing you suckers goodbye. You're listening to The Ron Van Dam Show on New England Broadcasting.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Oh, not again.
Hold on tight, things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
Hey, welcome to the program. It is the Ron Van Dam Show. I am just one of the people that make this show possible. There are other people involved. They just don't want me to expose them publicly out of considerable embarrassment. So I will respect their wishes. Actually, I'm not going to respect their wishes. Our announcer and comedy writer, John Shanahan, ladies and gentlemen, check him out. He has his own website, Hypnagogue. Check that out, baby. And then there's composer and performer Jason Shaw, composes our opening and closing themes and for us, and we appreciate that, Jason Shaw, ladies and gentlemen. And then there's Julie Cochran. She does some of the voiceover work for the show. And we have a producer who does a wonderful job in gathering guests for us because I don't have the time to do it, nor the want, nor the ability. Nicole Reed. Thank you, Nicole. And those are just some of the people. And we have other participants that contribute to the program. They're wonderful people. I've never met people as wonderful as them. I say that because it's the right thing to say. And then there's me. I just show up and talk. All right. Someday the show will be big enough to have a catering company actually sponsor themselves and cater the program, but that's not going to happen, let's face it. I also don't have people, you know. I don't have a team of people that surround me and protect me from all types of things like comments and opinions, things like that. I don't have yes people who run around saying, Mr. Van Dam, may I get you a sandwich? Those people, I don't have them. Or make phone calls for me. They don't like polish my nails and things like that. No one's touching my nails, by the way, especially my toes. Don't touch my toes. I don't have people like that. You know, when someone calls our production office, I don't have people that answer the phone and say, Mr. Van Dam's production office, please speaking in English. Things like that. I don't have that. You know, when people want to have lunch with me, I don't send my people out to have lunch with their people. I don't have that kind of entourage. Would I like one? Yeah. All right. That's enough. I have a very interesting show for you today. I'm excited about it personally, and it doesn't mean anything to anybody else because, you know, what can you do? When I was a kid, I watched this show a lot. This guest today, in an extended interview that I'm doing with him, he's a television producer, produced many of the television shows that you know of and you watched and you loved. You may not know he produced some of these things, but it's incredible. His biggest claim to fame was probably the television show Saved by the Bell. Do you remember this show? It kind of was like an Archie's Comics kind of realization on television, but not, but yes, but no, but sure, but maybe not. Kind of felt like it. There were many generations of this show. There was Saved by the Bell, the college years, Saved by the Bell, Next Generation. Wait, Star Trek. I get confused. Very prolific producer, and he's going to give us some of the behind-the-scenes stuff and how he put the show together and what he went through to put many of his very popular shows on the television. It's interesting because In our lives, tell me if you agree with me or not, but don't say it out loud because it's radio. I can't hear you anyway. This is a rhetorical show, by the way. Don't respond to it. You can go on your little Facebook thing and like the show. I would appreciate that. I don't ask for I don't make my money from you listening to the show. You don't pay to hear this. I make my money in other ways with this radio thing. Basically prostitution. But no, that's not true. It's not basically prostitution. It's all prostitution. Anyway, and my escort service where I have 30 people working for me. We do very, very well, by the way. That's not true. That's a lie. Just wanted to get a reaction out of you. That's all I wanted to do. What was I talking about? Meatloaf? What was I doing here? Can you believe there was a singer that was called Meatloaf? What the hell? I mean, seriously? That's what you called yourself? Meatloaf? God, I thought that was a funny, interesting songs that he did. I know some of your generations don't know what I'm talking about. He's a singer, interesting story songs, but he called himself Meatloaf. I don't understand that. Maybe his name is Bob, and he's sitting there having dinner, and so I want to start a singing career. What should I call myself? Bob? No. Well, what are you eating? Meatloaf? That's a name. Do it. Go with that. Meatloaf. It's ridiculous, but not as ridiculous as Jelly Roll. Excuse me? Yeah, it's a generational thing. This is a new thing. This is a guy named Jelly Roll. I cannot explain it. It simply is. I can't look at Jelly Roll. I don't mind tattoos, to be honest with you, but if you're going to put it all over your face, then you're making me. You're forcing me to make a choice. Do I want to look at you? No, I don't. I can't. I just can't. Your face is like, what happened? What happened, Jelly Roll? Even that entire phrase is ridiculous. What happened, Jelly Roll? Well, I was listening to Meatloaf yesterday. You listen to Meatloaf? What, do you put your ear to the meat? What the hell? This is a weird world that we're living in. So sometimes we like to go back to our childhood. Whether your childhood was wonderful or horrible, there are little spots in it that remind you of a more innocent time where it wasn't really an innocent time. It's just you didn't know enough to know that it wasn't innocent. And we do that with songs. You hear a song and it's, oh, I grew up with that song. And all of a sudden you just go blank. You just go blank and your head just goes right into that song and your mind just starts conjuring up images of probably the better part of your childhood. It's amazing how music can do that. Well, television does that too. If you're watching television and you see a show that was you watched when you were a kid or a teenager, something like that, does the same thing. It takes you right out of your present day troubles, and believe me, there are plenty of present day troubles to be taken out of. You take your choice, and you're thrusted back into a time where your mind just says, "Oh, okay, I'm familiar with this. It's comfortable. I'm familiar with it. It's comfortable." Mm-hmm. And that's what this producer's shows were. His name is Peter Engel, a very ambitious man. He's released a book about his television career and how he got some of these things on the air and put them together. And it's quite an interesting, fascinating thing. So we're going to talk to him today in an extended interview because there's a lot going on. Pick up his book if you're into it, okay? Whenever. We're going to take a commercial break, and then we're going to get into it. All right, listen to me. We're on all these platforms. We're on 40 different social media platforms. I mean, all of them. You name them, we're on all of them. That's someone in my staff does this for me, and because I don't know what the hell I'm doing with that social media. I'm not a social guy to begin with. I know media, but I don't know how to apply it to you. The social part just scares the hell out of me. Anyway, we're on every platform there is. I mean, you can even tell Alexa to play the show, and she'll go, okay, fine. Amazing. Anyway, yeah, so we're on all the platforms there and all that kind of stuff. Why am I telling you that? What happened to my mind all of a sudden? Okay. On Facebook, they sometimes they just like bug me up the ass. They say, Ron, you played some copyrighted music. Oh, come on, stop it. I didn't play the whole song. I just played like a little piece of it. And then they actually want to like ban the episode because I use copyrighted music. I'm holding up a finger. You can't see which one it is, but your imagination can probably get a pretty good picture of it. So as we go into the interview, there's like 15 seconds of the Saved by the Bell theme song. And when it comes out of the interview, it repeats again. I'm just telling you ahead of time, don't ban this episode today just because I did that. I'm trying to make something happen here. I'm not making money off of your stupid little music rights thing. God. Meatloaf. Jelly Roll. All right. Take this commercial break. And when we come back, Peter Engel will join us. But first, there's this.
There is dining out, and then there is the dining experience. Giacomo's on the Waterfront is the ultimate dining experience. Our unique crescent-shaped dining room, designed by world-renowned architect Shai Feng, offers a perfect, unimpaired view of the sparkling waters of the harbor from every seat through exquisite floor-to-ceiling windows. Allow our award-winning maitre d' to show you to your table, dressed in supple Belgian linens and elegantly set with the finest imported Limoges china and high-quality sterling silverware handcrafted by the master himself, Sebastian Franck. Each place setting is garnished with a delicate bouquet of flowers, freshly cut mere moments before you're seated, from our fully sustainable on-premises greenhouse, overseen by master horticulturist Marie Esmond. Bask in the hushed thrill of gentle music from a live chamber trio ensemble as our courteous and professionally trained waitstaff, each dedicated to a single table only, see to your every need with an almost supernatural level of attention to detail and finesse. Yes, there is dining out, and then there is the dining experience at Giacomo's on the Waterfront, an occasion so unique, so immersive, and so perfect in every way, you may never even notice we don't actually serve food. Giacomo's on the Waterfront, because sometimes just being there is enough.
It's alright, 'cause I'm saved by love. It's alright, 'cause I'm saved by love. It's alright, 'cause I'm saved by the bell.
Peter Engel joined us, famous producer and creator. And you actually, I guess, decided to sit down and write some of your experiences and memoirs and behind-the-scenes kind of things.
Well, it wasn't just about Saved by the Bell. It's the whole journey. It's my life. I met so many interesting people along the way, and the stories are so funny and sad,
Yeah.
and hopeful.
Yeah.
So it's, Saved by the Bell's the title. Stories of life, love, and dreams that do come true.
Let's go back to the beginning.
Sure.
Was there a point in your life, in your childhood, where you envisioned this type of industry and this type of journey? Really?
Yes, I grew up on the west side of Manhattan.
All right.
And as far as I knew, we were the first ones, I think, maybe not, to have a television.
Right.
And that first night, I saw the Milton Berle Texaco Soft Theater. And I was very shy, and I laughed out. I was not the big mouth I am today. Yeah. And I got, this is for me. This is so
very cool.
Freeing.
Yeah.
And of course, I didn't tell anyone because I was too embarrassed.
But you ended up creating more than performing, from what I know.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to be in it. I wanted to write it and produce it and run it.
Wow. And you follow, and it was more of a twist on comedy because you did situation comedy. You've done other things as well, obviously.
Right.
But And then you actually, with Last Comic Standing, executive producing that and creating that, that was like right along the comedy line. Has it always been?
Right.
Yeah.
Pardon?
So it's always been that kind of thing where you wanted to bring humor.
Humor and entertainment. The best comedy can make you laugh and cry before you know it.
Yeah.
The best comedians can do that. The best comedies can do that. Telling a story. It's all about telling a story.
Yeah.
And if people say to me, "What's the story have to have?" I said, "A beginning, middle, and end."
You're basically a writer is a creator and vice versa, and it must be very. I do some of it myself. It must be very satisfying to have something in your mind and then see it come to fruition, which is amazing, the way that you saw it in your mind to some extent, and then to have millions upon millions of people actually see what you had in your mind. I mean, what could be better than that?
And to hear the laughter.
Yeah.
I'm not talking, well, obviously we were in 85 countries. No comedy had ever gone to more than 6.
Right.
English-speaking ones, but every kid went to school somewhere. But to write something and hear an audience explode in laughter is really a great high.
Yeah. Now, the Saved by the Bell was done in front of a live audience, right?
Yes, it was.
Yes. And I, from what I know of the show and seen documentaries accordingly, I know that was like a struggle to keep it on the air. Popular, not popular, and then an outcry.
No, it only was a struggle after the first. We only had 7 runs.
Yeah.
And it was a struggle to not make it go 7 on and 7 weeks on and off.
Yeah.
I needed at least 20 to run a season, and I had to fight for that.
Yeah.
Even though the president of NBC was the one who talked me into doing a show.
Oh. And then you were dealing with a subject matter and with characters that grew. And
yes, it was a Saved by the Bell originally. Mm-hmm. Well, we had 2 of them after the second year, third year. We had the school shows, which was from the bell ringing Monday morning to Friday. Yeah. Then we encompassed the weekends. Then we had another time period with adventures right up the beach here. I'm in Santa Monica, right on the beach, looking at the ocean as I talk to you. The Malibu Sands Beach Club, where we did 6 episodes. Yeah. We had a whole other time period called Adventures. Was right up the beach from me, and after that it was how high is high.
Yeah, well, weekend morning television used to be cartoons exclusively and nothing else, and you kind of introduced the situation comedy to kids that were that age, and they soaked it up.
Yeah, but people will remember that at the end of, after 3 years, we had the whole morning.
Yeah.
We had 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then then we were on 200 stations in syndication also, in addition to NBC, and then we were in 85 foreign countries. But people don't remember, and one of the reasons I didn't want to do the show originally is that I'll lead in with chipmunks, and I'll lead out with Smurfs.
I know.
And we were against a raisin, a rabbit, and a bear, and I wasn't sure if anyone would find us in that environment.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was wrong.
Well, it kind of changed morning television, to be honest with you.
It sure did. Well, I don't know what it is. Yeah, that's good. But what it really did, and NBC didn't take advantage of it, although I did Last Comic Standing and other shows. I did 9 seasons of Last Comic Standing. What they didn't understand was they weren't converting these kids into nighttime viewers, and that's how the CW came about.
Yeah, wow.
And that's how Fox with 90210.
Yeah.
In other words, they didn't take that same audience and say, all right, let's go into nighttime with some of these kind of shows, more adult perhaps. Mm-hmm. And that's how other networks, and now you have whole channels on cable that do tween and teen. Disney Channel didn't even do it.
Correct. Yeah. I've always wanted to ask you, in your mind, was Saved by the Bell kind of based on Betty and Veronica comics?
No, not at all. In fact, a good friend of mine said to me, "It's Betty and Veronica and Archie, right?"
Right.
And it was about the 4th week in, right?
Yeah.
I said, "It is?" I read Archie as a kid. I never for a moment thought of that. This was the school because they were kind of goofy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we only had one goofy guy,
Yeah.
Screech.
Yeah, and then he was quite goofy.
He was great. He
Yeah.
was a comedic genius.
Yeah. Is Last Comic Standing coming back? Where's that now?
You never know. Because I didn't do the last two. I mean, I own half of it with
Right.
NBC.
Well, you created the original, yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't. I was hands-on for 7 years, seven seasons.
Right.
We were canceled 3 times.
Right. Really?
But not because of us, because they used to shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
And then they brought the last 2 seasons. Last year, I don't even remember the last one, but season 8 was excellent. I felt, and 9 was, I think, was just cut the money. It looked like very cheap, but they own it, so they don't have to ever really cancel it. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
And I just, I'm in the Writers Guild, and though I'm not actively writing television right now, nor do I plan to, but I understand I got a thing for strike authorization. Well, when strike authorization comes, you know that.
Yeah, I got that.
Who knows? It's very easy. Although that's right, we were in the Writers Guild, even though it was reality with NBC. I don't know. Why not? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
if you have a good new group of comics,
why not? Why
not?
It launched a lot of very successful careers, and that's always
it sure did.
That's always a mark as well.
Amy Schumer for one.
God.
Everyone kept telling me the year we put her in the house, we put the 10 finals in the house.
Yeah.
And they said, she's not ready. I said, no one's ready. Leave me alone. We're putting her in. She said, no one's ready.
Yeah. So you going all, I don't, how much time do I have with you, by the way?
Well, if you want.
Okay. You were with NBC, but I understand as a page, though.
Yeah, that's when I went to NYU.
Oh.
I didn't go leave, and I went to NYU during the day, and I worked at night at NBC as a page. We had those when I did my book signing at the NBC store, December.
Wow.
They brought the pages down to see me, who I had seen for all my career when I was under exclusive to NBC when they owned half my company.
Yeah.
But in this case, I looked at the uniforms. They had these kind of gray blazers with kind of a flower. We had real uniforms. We had wing collars, and we had double-breasted blue jackets with big gold buttons, and we had braid too. Ron, we had. If I had my uniform today, I'd probably be in Trump's cabinet.
Don't go that far.
Yeah, no, but I'm not gonna. But I'm saying that he loves the gold. I had a gold
he loves that stuff.
braid.
Oh yeah.
He loves that.
He loves that stuff. So, were you in the Film and Television Institute there at NYU?
I was. Yes, I was.
So was I. I don't know what year you were there, but
I graduated in 1960.
Oh, okay. I was there graduating in 74.
Okay,
yeah.
But hey, the biggest award. I know I taught there 8 years ago.
Really?
I did my 35 college, so I taught in the business of the business in Stern. I taught the mounting of a television show in Tisch.
Yeah.
But the biggest student award for directors is the Haig Benujian Award, and he was my professor.
Wow, that's cool.
And Irving Falk was my writing, advanced writing. Only 6 of us. He was with Orson Welles as a kid. War of the World.
That's funny.
And he would say to me, "You write with an economy of words."
Wow.
I had a very good experience at NYU.
Good times. Yeah, I mean, I love the film and television. We used to go to the art theater, watch a movie, and the entire course would be just reviewing the movie. And I thought, this is wonderful. This is great.
Well, the first movie we watched was Lenny Reichenfeld's Triumph of the Will.
Yeah. Wow.
And then Orson Welles.
Citizen Kane.
Citizen
Kane.
Yes.
Yeah, we watched that
Kane.
too. Yeah, absolutely. So, how did the empire build, Peter? I mean, how did you take it from there? Was there someone at NBC that said this kid's got it? I mean, how did it grow like this?
I wasn't a kid. I had my heart broken a million times with shows that coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn't.
Yeah, but someone recognized something, obviously.
Well, Brand Tartikoff was a young mercurial president who unfortunately passed away in the middle of our run.
Yes.
But he said, "Come to NBC." He had met me before when I was at Universal or First Artist, and he said, "Come to NBC. We can do great things." And then he came to me and he said, I want to do a live action show. I said, get someone else. To me, that was Saturday morning. That was. I went home. My wife said, "How was your day?" I said, "They want me to do a kid show." She said, "That's great." And I said, "Who cares about that?" She said, "How about our kids?" I said, "Good point."
Yeah.
And I went back to Brand and said, "I'll have a show for you in 3 weeks." That turned into 9.
Yeah.
Teen shows or 10.
Wow. Unbelievable. You've met so many famous icons, both in the business and in music and popularity. I mean, do you feel like you've done the full thing? I mean, just you've met people that other people have never even imagined to see.
I do, from JFK to John Lennon to going to the White House, multiple times to Orson Welles and Betty Davis and Jacques Cousteau and on, and then tell great stories. I had lunch with Elvis. That's not in the book.
Wow.
He ate, I ate, right? So you have to have a story to be in the book. That's not a story. So I felt that I wanted to tell the story, the journey of never giving up. Yeah. And if you don't have your heart broken a million times, you'll never really understand or enjoy the total this feeling of victory finally. And then once you get on a roll, I had 6 shows shooting at the same time every week.
Wow.
I mean, that's insane.
It is insane.
One show is a full-time job.
It is insane. But people
it was only my OCD that got me through it.
You need something.
It did. Everything had to be perfect.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes I didn't know what stage I was on when I walked in. Everything had to be just the same.
Yeah, you have to be in a million places. Your mind has to be in a million places at the same time. When someone looks like at a career like yours, they only see the successes. They don't see what it took to get there, and this overnight success kind of phrase.
It wasn't overnight.
Yeah, it doesn't really exist for most people, and there was, I assume, a lot of pain involved going up and down because your mind is on the line, so to speak, and your creation.
And in another business, if you fail, no one knows.
Correct.
If you fail in our business, everyone knows. And you're rejected by millions of people.
Yes, it's different being canceled than being fired.
It's worse.
Yes, it's worse. Okay.
Cancel is worse than being fired.
Now, so the book just covers the entire journey and some of the behind-the-scenes things that most people would never have known about if you didn't expose them.
Right. I don't say anything bad about anyone. But it's fun. It's fun. Actually, most of the people who read it have said it made them cry also, because there are. There's one story, those who danced, sung with us who sing no more. Mm-hmm. Some people who were very important to my company and to me who died very young.
Yeah.
Young. And the loss. But the real story is the love. It's never been about the fame or the money. Mm-hmm. It's really about the journey and the people you love and laugh with and cry with along the way. That's what, to me, is the real story.
Wow. Well, the book is called I Was Saved by the Bell, Stories of Life, Love, and Dreams That Do Come True. And Peter Engel penned the creation. It's available everywhere, I hope.
Yeah, well, it's selected bookstores, but it's Amazon, most of it. And then we have a website. You can get an autographed copy. IWasSavedByTheBell.com.
IWasSavedByTheBell.com. Beautiful. You realize, of course, that you have a lot of fans, not just for Saved by the Bell, but for the other creations as well. Some people may not even realize that some of the shows that they enjoyed, you did have a hand in. So it's fascinating, and congratulations on it, and we hope to hear more from you.
Thank you, Ron. My pleasure.
It's alright, 'cause I'm saved by love. It's alright, 'cause I'm saved by love. It's alright, 'cause I'm saved by the bell.
Okay, that'll do it for today. I'll be back again the next time a weekday rolls around, which could be rather soon. And will you join me then? Thank you. But until that time arrives, I wish you peace.